Um, First, hey everybody, welcome to the first session that we're going to have. This one is going to be about connecting with different Sun Devils. While we're doing that, we'll keep moving right along here. My name is John Leach. Like Veronica mentioned, I am a career peer working with her, specifically of marketing and events. I'm also a current student in ASU studying business communications. So this is finals week for me, and I know it is for a lot of you as well. So crossing fingers for everybody. Also, while we're doing this, if you guys want to kind of put in the chat, we want to keep this a little bit interactive. Some of the things that you are up to during our quarantine, staying inside, staying home. I am currently writing a young adult novel while I am also going through school. So that's been a lot of fun. And I will move it on over.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. I am an ASU alumni as well as an NAU alumni. And I'm a career and industry specialist with Career and Professional Development Services here at ASU. Nice to meet everyone. In my specific role, I focus on STEM and entrepreneurship and also assisting individuals with disabilities and working with those employers. And so during quarantine, thank you, John, for highlighting that little fun fact, but during quarantine, I am learning how to work on cars and new ways to cook.
Alrighty, hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alison Scott. I'm the Associate Director for Corporate Engagement and Partnerships on the Western region. I work on our Corporate Partnerships and Alumni Engagement team, and I have the privilege of working with West Coast companies and alumni and students. I live in Seattle, so I'm joining you all from the Northwest. ASU alumni as well. And in quarantine, my fun little facts, I've been doing some virtual tarot parties with friends, and my roommate and I joke that we are trying to get on Top Chef after we're done with quarantine. Thanks so much for everyone for coming. I'm really excited you're here.
Awesome, thanks guys. Now we will move it on over to our lovely panelists, these incredible Sun Devil alumni. If you guys want to take yourselves off mute and introduce yourselves real quick.
Hi, I'm Loresa Miara. I am a ASU Thunderbird 2019 graduate. I am currently working for Deutsche Bank as anti-financial crime, and I'm here located in Florida. Thank you.
Thanks. Hi, I'm Genevieve Vega. I'm an organizational effectiveness consultant for Slalom Consulting, and I have my bachelor's in communication from way back when in 2005. And then a few years ago, I completed my executive MBA from the W.P. Carey School of Business. So I am a two-time Sun Devil. Happy to be with you all.
Hi, Andy Forsell. I'm a senior project manager specializing in business development for locked-in companies. I graduated in 2011 from the W.P. Carey School of Business with a marketing degree.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here and welcome. I know for all of us, it's a little bit interesting kind of navigating this whole thing. So we will hop right into it with our first question. Please take as much time as you need for it. And we will just start it off. What advice would you give for anyone trying to either find a new career or further their current career during this time? With a lot of us staying at home, kind of adjusting to this new landscape, what advice would you give? And whoever wants to kick it off.
So I think that Jamie made a really good point about this being an opportunity to do things a little bit differently. And what I would say is do the same kinds of things that you would be doing normally, just digitally. And what I mean by that is if you are the kind of person that gets out there and gets involved in the community, if you're involved in young professionals groups, if you're reaching out cold to people to get coffees, lunches, things like that to expand your network, whether that's to develop a skill or to get introduced to a potential new career. Do those exact same things, but this time instead of suggesting that you buy them coffee at a coffee shop, respect the fact that they may or may not feel comfortable with that, and perhaps send them a gift card for $5 at Starbucks or maybe a local coffee shop or a ASU alumni coffee shop, excuse me, and ask them for 30 minutes via WebEx or Zoom. That way you can still expand your network while also doing it in a way that can kind of meet them where they're at.
Yeah, this is Genevieve. Andy, I couldn't agree with you more about expanding your network and getting involved in the community. I also totally agree with Jamie on the use this as an opportunity to evolve yourself, evolve the way you do business, evolve the way you engage with your customers or clients. And I can tell you, for me personally, not only am I getting used to this working full-time plus being a full-time homeschool parent, but I'm also in the middle of getting my cloud certification to be a cloud practitioner. So while my personal role is to help organizations change and adapt to new technology environments, my ability to speak the same language as the developers and engineers who are working on the technology will really help me evolve the way I do business going forward. And so just through that action and through reaching out to your network, for anybody who might already have, say, the same certification you're looking for, or maybe is doing something that you want to learn more about, definitely leverage your alumni network that you have access to. Those kinds of things I think will really help you uncover not just what you want to do, but also how you might want to approach it. And you can really leverage all the tools, all the virtual tools that are available to you, and you'll find that through that you'll discover more about yourself and more about how you like to work if you're being focused and intentional on it.
The only other thing that I would add to this is don't disappear. It's going to be very easy right now to assume that everybody is too busy dealing with COVID-19. They might not have time for you. Don't make that assumption. Some people have more time than they did before or are looking to talk about something other than what they're doing during COVID-19. But also don't be tone deaf. Just because somebody doesn't respond back to you right away, or maybe even after 2 or 3 weeks, they might have a bunch of things on their plate they simply may have forgotten. I'd say that be what I'd like to call pleasantly persistent, and follow up with the people that you really want to meet and you really want to talk to, and find a way to do that even using technology, or maybe expanding out the timeline of your expectations a bit.
That's awesome. And we also had someone submit a question for you all before the event. The question was, for those who were stay-at-home parents and they're heading back into the workforce or heading back to school, do any of you all have some tips and tricks for them as they are entering back into the workforce and transitioning their careers?
So this is Genevieve again. Admittedly, I have never been a stay-at-home mom, to be clear, except for, those few weeks of maternity leave, I guess. I have 2 children, but I do have a couple of friends who have done that. They had a career prior to having kids. They, scaled it way back once they had children, and now, 15 years later, they're going back to work. So I would, if you can, ramping up to that, I think would be extraordinarily helpful. In other words, if you have a date in mind in the future where you think you're going to want to get back into the workforce, whatever that date is for you, if it's when your kids are out of elementary school, if it's when they start high school, so on and so forth, if you can prepare for that, I think, getting into the community and leveraging your skills there might be really helpful. Were you on the PTA? Were you a coach for a sports team? Did you volunteer for a nonprofit while your kids were at school? I think those are all very marketable resources that you can use to apply to the workforce, even if you've been out of it for a little while. And then I also would go back to whatever online learning you can do, because it's so important to keep that growth mindset and have that ability to constantly learn and grow. That I think will really, again, to Jamie's point earlier, skills and abilities, not necessarily the specific degree that you're working on, will be important for you.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Larissa, we have a question for you. Thinking about those who are, either transitioning to careers like Genevieve answered, but someone in here asked how to find the right job for someone who doesn't know exactly what they want to do yet. What are ways that they can figure this out and find something that would be a good fit for them? Larissa, if you want to kick us off there.
Yes, of course. I went through the same challenge as well. And of course, financial crime was a new area to navigate. I never had experienced that previously during my workforce, previously in my giving my background. And when I approached this challenge, I just decided to see what I was passionate about it. I really liked international affairs. I really liked international business. I always enjoyed and was really good in finance. So I started to put those like pieces together. I did a lot of training with mentors. I used that resource that ASU provides a lot, just because talking to someone that is experienced on a career, the person asks the right questions to you. So it was a lot of questions that was asked to me. What do you like? What was your passion? What are your skills? What are your abilities? So even though you don't know what is the perfect job for you yet, and you are navigating to get that job as soon as you graduate within a month or two, a semester, just look for skills that you're very good at, because that you can market yourself, things that you're passionate about it. And that's how I landed to a career path that I chose for myself. And also maybe start, instead of thinking in a month now that you'll be graduating, think about 10 years from now. Do you want a job or do you want a career? Do you want to focus in the long term of things that, because your first job is not going to be the job of your life, or that job forever, or the job that you're going to fall in love and want to be forever and ever there. So if you started to think maybe in 10 years from now, how do you see yourself? How do you, how much do you want to be making, or in which career field you wanted to be in? Make a list of like things you do like it or things you don't like it. Start looking industries, and from the industries, go look for the companies that are in that industry. Look for company culture, and that way you kind of like start filtering what is more appealing to you or not. And those things, definitely having a mentor that you can bounce ideas and people can ask you the right questions, it's very important. And that's one of the greatest advice that I received when I was being challenged by that question.
Awesome. Thank you so much. As someone who's about to be looking for full-time positions, I was kind of taking notes myself, so I appreciate it. As we're wrapping up here, just want to extend a huge thank you to Larissa, Genevieve, and Andy for all of your great insight. For all of our attendees, you'll definitely make sure to check out our follow-up email. We will have all of their contact information. So if you have your own questions or you want to follow up with any of them, you'd be more than welcome to.